All right, welcome back to art class. We're going to be making a torn paper Elmo. In order to do this, it's going to take 2 weeks to do this. So we're going to do the main body of it today, and then we'll do the features next week. You're going to need a few items to do this. You're going to need 2 pieces of paper. These are just printer paper. This is a stencil. This is actually a lid to a dish. And the lid size should be about just a little bit smaller than the paper. That's how we figure out the size there. You're gonna need some glue. You need a blue crayon, a pencil, a ruler, and you are gonna need a pair of scissors. First thing we're going to do is move everything off to the side here. Moms and dads, this first part would be best if you do this part. This is just a little bit of setup work. This is going to be the back of one of the sheets of paper. So we're going to need to make some lines. These lines will be used later on for cutting, and that's the practice of the cutting that we're doing for the kids for this project. So there's a few things that we're practicing. We're going to be practicing some cutting skills. We're going to be practicing some tearing skills. All these things are hand-eye coordination, really important to get good at. We're also going to be practicing how to glue things properly without using too much glue. All right, so you can see that I measured every inch across the top, every inch across the bottom, and now I'm going to be creating the lines right around here. So it's just using inches. These are going to be the lines that the kids will cut on to practice their cutting. So we can just set this piece of paper off to the side for a minute. This is the one the kids are going to start working on. So this piece of paper, and we're actually done with the ruler, so that can actually be put off to the side as well. We're going to need our stencil. Again, the stencil I picked is just a bit smaller than the paper. I'm going to center it as best I can. And I'm going to take my pencil and trace it. Again, remember, moms, dads, it's okay to help with holding down the object, but make sure your student is the one practicing the tracing. Okay, so the first part, super easy. That's all the kids have to draw. We're gonna go back to this piece of paper for a minute. So that's the lines. We're gonna flip it over, move this piece of paper out of the way, and we are going to just actually color the paper blue. Okay? So you just literally need to go in, and you're going to spend some time making sure your edges look good. You're going to color this whole piece of paper blue. That way we have a blue piece of paper to work with, because Cookie Monster is blue. Okay, we're going to take our blue paper, and now we're going to flip it over. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting this into strips. This is, take your time and stay on the line. So we're going to have our students carefully cut on the line, taking their time, practicing the motion of opening and closing the scissors, and just getting used to it. You don't want to rush because scissors are sharp. And we are repeating this over and over again to get good at using the scissors. It takes a long time to get really good with the hand-eye coordination. my stack of papers there. Scissors can go off to the side here and go back to our circle. So next, take your blue piece of paper and we are going to be tearing. This is a practice motion of fine motor control. So we're going to take 2 fingers and thumb, finger and thumb. One set's going to go this way to the away from me. One set's going to go closer to me. So I got to hold it, and we're going to want a piece roughly the size of an inch. And we don't want to go real small. We don't want something that's really tiny like this. This is not very good. This is too small for us to use. It ends up just causing lots of gluey, messy problems later. It takes some practice to tear. One is going forward, one is going backwards. I'm going to just make a nice little stack of it. Then I'm going to put the stack over here, and I'm going to start gluing. Now when we use glue, a couple things you need to remember. Glues need to be closed when they're not used. So you look at the cap here, and you notice there's not a gap. I can twist it, and now there is a little gap right here. That the way I know it's open. And then I twist it closed just to make sure our glue closes like it's supposed to. And the gap is gone. Open it up. Okay. I need you to remember this phrase because I'm going to use it a lot this year and next year. Dot, dot, not a lot. What that means is when we use glue, we use a dot of glue to do our gluing. So we're going to put a dot of glue. It's not on the line, it's inside. And then I'm going to put a piece, hold it down for about 5 seconds. Then I go ahead and put the next dot. Next dot. And work our way all the way around. When I run out, I grab another strip, tear, going forward, backward. Takes practice to get good at it. Okay, once I have my pile, I go back to gluing. It's best to do one at a time. That way we don't glue extra places. Okay, we're going to start our second row. So it works exactly the same way. You tear your pieces. And we're going to start our second row. Again, remember, dot, dot, not a lot. Dot, dot, not a lot. I'm going to work my way all the way around. I'm going to keep going one layer at a time. So I finish one layer, I do the next layer. this is where we're going to leave it today. The whole thing needs to be filled in with blue. Next week we will work on putting the face together. Right? So we'll need a few stencils and another piece of paper. We'll talk about that next week. And I hope you have a good one. Just please remember a couple of key things. Remember, when you're working with glue, a dot, dot, not a lot. If you're working with scissors, take your time and stay on the line. I'll see you next week.